Hey folks, how you doing? Brian Blessing in Las Vegas, and here we go. The NFL opening line report for you. Soldiering on through this NFL season. Some incredible things happened this past weekend, and then the impact it has on the numbers next week. Kind of off the charts, and that's what we're here to do, and that's to try to get you the best of the number and tell you where the openers are going to go. We start with what the advanced line was before games were played, the openers, and then the anticipation of where the numbers go. Let's go. Thursday night. What a game. Seattle hosting Arizona. Seahawks, the advanced number was 5.5. They're 4.5 point favorites on the opening number, total 56.5. Listen, Arizona, you got to think this is a huge letdown spot for Arizona. The miracle win, DeAndre Hopkins. Josh Allen took the Bills down the field, beat them. Diggs with a great catch. They play it 99 times out of 100. Buffalo hangs on. DeAndre Hopkins goes up over top of three guys, brings the ball down, wins the game. Miracle, a win nonetheless. The logjam atop the NFC West. Three teams now with a 6-3 record with Seattle, Arizona, and the Rams. But Seattle, all of a sudden, they have to win this game. It's almost like their season's on the line. I mean, a wild card certainly is in play. But in terms of the division, they've now lost to both Arizona and the Rams. And the Rams really shut Russell Wilson down. We haven't seen that. They need a running game. They need Carson or Hyde to get back. But boy, give the Rams defense full marks. And the last time these two teams played, a wild shootout in overtime, Arizona got the win. Seahawks had it won, I thought. Got a little too conservative, 37-34. So they scored 71 last time. Total here's 56. That and a half. That total might go up. Should be a great game. Philly is at Cleveland. Cleveland was a 2-point favorite with the advanced line. It opens 3.5. Cleveland was a 2-point favorite, the advanced line, and it's up to 3.5 at home. Total 45.5 because Philadelphia, Wentz in particular, they just looked atrocious against the Giants. Cleveland gets the win at home. Chubb could have run in for the touchdown. Fantasy players and the bettors alike. He could have scored in the closing couple of seconds because it would have been still a 2-possession game. Instead, he runs out of bounds. They kneel down and win the game. That one raised some eyebrows, certainly. But Cleveland, this number's above the key number of 3. I don't see it coming back. Philly looks just all out of sorts. And we go to Atlanta and New Orleans. You have Atlanta coming off a bye, and the advanced number was New Orleans 7.5. This number's in the 6 range because Drew Brees, rib injury, didn't finish the second half. We may be looking at Jameis Winston here. Now, and the thing is, he's only going to get a couple of days to practice, got his feet wet in the second half. But Atlanta, fresh and coming off the bye here, gives them an opportunity. This was a number that would have been in the high 40s, if not low 50s, waiting to see what exactly is going to transpire here with Winston. But listen, don't forget what New Orleans did. The last time Breeze was out a long period of time when Teddy Bridgewater was there, all they did was win. Let's go to Cincinnati at Washington. The number was pick, the advanced line. Washington, a 1-point favorite. Hard-fought effort. Lost on a field goal at the end of the game to Detroit. Cincinnati gets beat by Pittsburgh. No disgrace there. These two teams trying to build something, and they are both playing very hard. And it really is kind of a pick'em game here. The total on the game is 45.5. And, clearly Burrow can do a lot of good things, and it's great to see, the great comeback from Alex Smith to have him back in the game. Now, Detroit's at Carolina. Here's another one that's interesting. The advanced line was 2. At the time of this taping, we're waiting on a number because Teddy Bridgewater suffered a knee injury in that loss to Tampa Bay. P.J. Walker, the backup, could get the call here. It's hard to trust Detroit, but if they get Galladay back, clearly that really enhances their chances and gives Stafford something to target. Pittsburgh opening number, advanced number was 10. The opener was 10.5 at Jacksonville. Total on the game is 46. Give the Jags credit. I mean, they took Green Bay to the wire. The thing you get here is, it's hard for teams to get up week in and week out. And, maybe Green Bay just didn't take Jacksonville seriously, but they did put up a fight. And, Pittsburgh, gets the job done in workmanlike fashion against Cincinnati. But don't forget, man, when you're unbeaten, you're going to get everybody's best shot. Total on that game, is 46. Tennessee and Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, the advanced number was 7. In the deluge and the monsoon at Foxborough, they lose to the Patriots. Will there be an overreaction? It was a goofball game with the weather. But there's really something going on here with Baltimore, and that team's putting 8 in the box trying to shut them down. And they could not stop, for the most part, the Patriots' running game. Again, it was goofball weather. But Baltimore getting back home, could they take out their frustration on a Tennessee team? Oh, by the way, playoff revenge for the Ravens. But here's the deal. This number is going to come down. Tennessee beat them in the playoffs last year. And you got Derrick Henry, and you've got this Tennessee team with a little extra time to prepare. Tennessee could be a midful here. Baltimore is maybe second-guessing themselves a little bit with what's going on of late. Let's go to New England at Houston. Houston was a 3-point favorite. The numbers come down. It's 2.5. It probably comes down even further. New England rallies. They beat the Jets. That wasn't pretty, but they beat in bad weather Baltimore. You know, they got a couple of wins in a row here. 4-5. The division still seems to be a real long shot for them. Buffalo brought Miami and New England closer, but Houston, there's just not a lot to write home about with this Texans team. The total we're waiting to see here, but I would think you'd be looking at something in the low 40s range, something in the 43, maybe 43.5 range. Miami and Denver, this number advance was a pick. How about this? Miami, a 3-point favorite on the road. The Dolphins are winning football games. Their defense is playing great. Tua's getting his feet wet. They took care of a Chargers team that just found egregious ways to lose, and they just weren't ready to play. They were down basically that whole game. Total on the game is 45.5. Denver, the only thing going against Miami is playing at altitude. Locke runs really inconsistent. The Denver defense can be okay, but boy, they just had a rough afternoon against the Raiders. Miami's the team feeling their oats here. The Jets coming off a bye at the Chargers. Chargers were a 10.5-point advance favorite. It's down to 9.5. I don't know that it comes down much further than that. It's still the Jets, but they are a pro team. They gave New England all they could handle. And Flacco can stretch the field. Crowder's healthy again. Interesting. I mean, this Chargers team, they can't find a way to win a game. Laying that kind of number, it just tells you the Jets on the fast track to a winless season. And the total on the game there is 47. Ball game here, Green Bay at Indianapolis. Now, this is the one that's kind of weird. You had Green Bay minus 2.5 with an advanced line. Struggle against Jacksonville. Had to survive at the end of the game. So this number comes all the way, flops around. Indy opens a 1-point favorite. Now, don't forget, this Indianapolis team, a little extra time to prepare after a very good win against Tennessee. Love the Colts. Big picture. I think they're well coached with Frank Reich. The defense can be really stout. It's running back by committee. It was Hines that had the big game against the Titans. This number could go back and forth. I bet you it's picked probably by the time it goes off. But Green Bay will have their fair share of supporters. Rest assured of that. Total on the game, 48.5. Indoors, Rivers against Rodgers. Yeah, you can see that number, that total going up. I think you could see a lot of points in that game. All right, here we go. Dallas at Minnesota. The advance line was 9.5, and not much going on here because we're waiting to see the Monday night result with Minnesota and Chicago. But we're seeing an opener of 7.5. Listen, Cook's a monster, which makes Cousins better. But Dallas, we're waiting to see, is it Garrett Gilbert, who wasn't hideous when he took the field in Andy Dalton's stead, or could Dalton be back here? So there are some gray areas for this one to see, what we're actually looking at. Boy, I think Cook's got people, he's so good. And people remember that last game they saw with Minnesota. Let's see what they do on Monday night. I think the Bears actually maybe have a little something for them on Monday night. Let's see what impact that has on this number. Okay, then we go to the Sunday night game right here in Vegas. KC, advanced line was 7. It's down to 6.5. Total on the game is 55. Now, I would say this to you, not knocking the Raiders. You beat Denver, you beat them impressively. The only blemish on the Chiefs' resume right now, the Raiders beat them in KC. They outgained them. Carr went over the top to Ruggs and Aguilar. Jacobs had a good game. But the Chiefs, with revenge on their mind, and this is one of those betting deals that the world knows about. Andy Reid's record off a bye is spectacular. If you like the Chiefs, bet them now. Sevens are going to pop up. This game will be teased down by virtually the entire world. I firmly envision that this number will be on 7, and I can see the total actually going up from 55, probably more to 56, 56 and a half. And then we go to the Monday night game. And this is another interesting game. The Rams at Tampa Bay, the advance was 3.5. We're looking at Tampa Bay 4. Total's 48.5. How about the Rams? This happened to the Raiders a few years ago, but the Rams, they've gone east 4 times this year. They're 2-2 straight up, 2-2 over and under. They beat Philly and Washington. They beat the NFC East teams. They lost, played a great game at Buffalo, suffered heartbreak at the end, and then lost pretty convincingly to Miami. So it's not like the Rams aren't accustomed to going east. What I would say to you, the total here is 48.5. I would look for, because Brady's such a public guy, and they lit up Carolina. The general public gets involved here, and they will likely play the over. The bottom line is, of the teams in the NFC West, with the Rams, Seahawks, and Arizona tied atop, I think the Rams have the best defense. And the way they contained a mobile Russell Wilson with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, I think the Rams defense steps up here. And everybody's all nuts about, Brady with that last effort against Carolina, who was kind of beat down. But don't lose sight of the fact they were a no-show against New Orleans and they struggled against the Giants. I think the actual way to go with this game is to look at going under the total. So if that's the case, you'd want to wait, because I do think the number will go up slightly from a total perspective. And I think maybe the pros might get on board with this too. And this number may come down, approaching the key number of 3 by the time they kick this thing off. But that's a pretty compelling game to wrap up the week. Flying through the season, we had a Hail Mary finish in that Arizona game with the Bills. I'm a Bills fan. I had people calling to check on me. Like, wait a minute. I was in the end zone on the field covering Super Bowl 25, the Music City Miracle. I'm like, this is water off a duck's back. Week 11 against Arizona. Full marks to Hopkins. What a play. And watch out for Arizona, man. That's a letdown spot. We'll see how they react to that incredible win. But Arizona, Seattle, that's going to be a real fun one. Jumpstarts a brand new week for us. We love doing this for you right here at VegasInsider.com. I'm Brian Blessing with your opening line report.